So,
what's up, chat? How y'all doing? Tap in with us, man. Talk to him, Ill. What are we doing?
So I wanted to actually talk about Smack Volume 2.
Oh, we're gonna do that first?
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that first. Let's get to it.
Okay.
And I can't remember all this card, so can you give me a recap of the card real quick, my man?
For sure. There's not. Let's just do this.
Fuck, you off count.
There's not one trailer out. It's all announcements. So let's just go.
I did watch a video of like the hype video for like Big K and T-Top and shit, and I thought that was tight.
Okay, so we can just start with the first one. The first one is obviously the main event, which is we're not gonna watch this whole fucking thing. I'm just gonna find the goddamn title card. Where the fuck is it? There we go. So obviously the main event. This whole event is based around this fucking
amazing match,
colossal
rematch,
titanic rematch.
Yeah,
Arsonal versus Hollow. Arsonal the Rebel versus Hollow the Don. Rematch from the Fight Club era.
Battle of the Does.
The Does, yeah.
All right.
Hollow the Don, Arsonal the Rebel.
Nah, but I don't think, did Arsonal ever have that officially in his name, though?
The Rebel?
Sure.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I
don't think it was officially ever labeled that, though.
No,
It's just like his...
Yeah,
Hollow is that.
Yeah.
They don't do it here just because it's shortened, but...
Well, it's, Immaculate, Ilmac, you know what I mean? You gotta shorten your name sometimes, man.
Ilmac.
Yeah, did you bite that?
Ilmac.
What if you just went by you lit? You
lit.
lit.
Ilmac. You lit.
That's what you should have said to DNA.
Damn. All right. So, yeah, when I heard about this, it fucking flipped my lid for sure. I didn't see it coming. I actually believed Arsonal when he said he was retiring for a minute.
Oh, on the watch?
Yeah. Well, when he officially retired, like after battling Lux and shit, I believed him.
Yeah.
I believed the boy.
But when we did the watch, he was all fronting. Like, he's like, yeah, I ain't battling for a while.
Yeah. I believed him then, too.
So, all right, so we're just gonna go straight in and talk about it, right?
I mean, the significance of it, because they battled, obviously, like, if you know, then you know. But they battled at Fight Club, I don't know what year. It was years ago.
2008.
That's, yeah.
08, something like that. Pool table in front of them, everything. Arsonal going crazy, wearing like, Ed Hardy shirt or something. Like doing the elbow drops and like crazy, performing wild. And it sounded like, and wasn't there something with that event too?
Yeah,
where,
so
like,
basically what happened was, the way Fight Club works is that Fight Club, there's a tournament to who gets the main event, and the main event in Fight Club happens on Monday nights. So this was on a Friday night. So they were like, they tell people who they're gonna battle, but not really that far ahead of time, so you can't really like write. They're like, Arsonal is gonna battle
Remy D.
Remy, and then Remy D, and then fucking Young Ill is gonna. Actually, no,
they switched it though, right?
It was Young Ill versus Arsonal, and then it was Remy D versus Hollow, and then whoever won those were gonna advance. And at the time, Hollow actually was like, Young Ill was his favorite battler. And Young Ill was like super active on the scene. I think he had more footage out than Arsonal did in the first place. So Hollow was like, oh, Young Ill's probably going to win that. But when he got there, everybody was kind of like playing him to the side. And they're like, yeah. And they're like, all right. We got Hollow versus Young Ill coming up next. And then so Hollow kind of just fucking ran through most of his shit that he had. That was like kind of like, vague, like punches and stuff like that. Nothing like to cater to the opponent at the time. But he ran through Young Ill, and it's cool to watch that battle back and know what Hollow said about Young Ill being like frightening to him and being like, I'm gonna get smoked by this guy because he's like my favorite battler. Because when you watch that battle, you're like, Hollow kind of kills Young Ill. That's like when Hollow's like fucking like going all crazy and like smacking the pool table.
I don't remember that battle.
It's kind of weird. There's like one of Young Ill's like boys like is like rolling up his shirt behind Young Ill and showing off his gang tats, but it looks hella suspect nowadays, Right. And I don't remember Arsonal battling Remy D. I don't remember watching that battle.
I don't remember that.
But
I just remember seeing Hollow versus Arsonal.
And then, after that happened, they fucking snuck Hollow with like, and then you're gonna battle him now. You're gonna battle Arsonal right now, So Hollow not only had like nothing prepared because he wasn't prepared to battle twice, period. That night, he fucking freestyled the whole thing. I think he said he had a little bit in the tank, you know, but like not much.
Right.
But yeah, and the thing also about the battle that he said in the interview that I found hella interesting, because like everybody always clowns Hollow, be like, you looked like you were crying the whole time, but like he's really just like looking around like, I can't believe you guys are fucking doing this to me. This is fucking crazy. Like you're letting this guy beat me out of like, you're setting me up essentially, you know.
It was the government, huh?
Yeah.
I definitely remember being like, damn, Hollow's freestyling and, you know, Ars is gassing.
Yeah.
And that's nothing to take away from Arsonal, because I think that was the first time I seen Arsonal and I was like, shit.
For me, that was the
first time I seen
him.
I seen Arsonal once before that, I think, on a Lions Den battle. I think versus Hollywood.
Yeah,
I think I seen that first.
Yeah.
Then I seen that. Yeah. And was like, oh shit, like this fool is a problem, you know. Like Arsonal's going in. He had what's funny is, you know, Arsonal for his intensity now, like in retrospect, like now, you know, getting in his opponent's face and everything, but he was able to translate that same performance and intensity with a pool table. Yeah, like that's impressive, you know.
Like Arsonal making his initial impact with this battle and what it meant to the culture and moving it forward, I salute it and respect it, and I know that this is one of the great battles. But let me just present this argument. Do you think, though, with this original battle, that the win over Hollow almost didn't stick? And fill me out on this, to where people almost knew that Arsonal, not like to say he got lucky because he was killing it, but people almost knew that Hollow wasn't in full form, and I almost feel like pretty much after the initial shock of Hollow losing at that time, which is still early in his career, but you know he had accolades, he wasn't
invincible yet. Yeah,
a body will hang around somebody for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, someone like Hollow can overcome that because he's one of the best. But I almost think the conversation and perception of this battle changed a little to where people know that Arsonal like kind of got over on Hollow. Now, whether it was, I don't think it was, you know, he was more prepared and
once
the greatest person win, but
sure, you're right.
Hollow, like, I don't know, I almost feel like people know there's a little asterisk on this battle, you know what I mean?
Even if it wasn't like that, asterisk, like me not knowing a backstory or anything, like, it was a different format, and so people, I mean, Hollow still had to deal with people referencing that shit. But
at the end of the day, even if like
people know it's a different format,
even if Fight Club kind of snuck Hollow, at the end of the day, Hollow lost, and he should have came there with more than just one round.
Because at that time, it wasn't super set up. Like you're battling only one like it was a lot more just
he's going over the time limits. I only wrote 2 minutes. You know, it's like you come there ready.
Yeah, for anything. That's what those. Yeah, those
as far as a rematch, though, I think Hollow's gonna clearly win.
Well, here's the other side of that. Before we even get into that prediction part, like, what did they let Arsonal know that he was gonna battle 2 people?
Yeah,
or was he just caught just as off guard, but was more prepared in the event?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
so I guess specifically Arsenal's fault.
I don't think it was a conspiracy. Like,
no, and that's not what I'm saying.
Arsenal, we're gonna get you. But then Hollow didn't know. Arsonal just didn't know. He could have got just as fucked in that position.
Yeah, but I think what it really is people are aware of the circumstances, sort of like that there was some fuck shit with Fight Club, however they did with the switch and shit. So it's interesting now because that battle was really early in the transition to the new era. So it's going to be really interesting because they both went on to be, you know, because Hollow, like I was saying, had accolades before this, but it's still really early in his career. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy that both of them made such an impact in battle rap and rose to huge success, top names in it. It's definitely like on some heavyweight boxer hype type at the fucking MGM Grand. It's that type of shit.
This is just gonna get at least a few thousand views.
I do personally think I have Hollow. I'm favoring Hollow. I think the Arsonal. Here's what I predict: Arsenal's first round will be hella good, but he'll lose steam. And Hollow's gonna be hella consistent. Hollow's probably gonna have a first. If you look at Hollow's first rounds historically,
crazy.
They're monumental.
Yeah, and they kind of poke holes in the other person's offense. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if Hollow opted to go first.
Yeah, he probably
he's not
going to
be scared of rebuttals. Yeah. And he might want to get out in front of Arsenal's
He knows how to strategically
and use Arsenal's strengths against him. You know what I mean? Yeah. I wouldn't doubt that I'll go first. You know, crowd. Ooh.
Because the thing about Hollow that is so threatening, apart from like, you know, his fucking skill set, is the breakdown shit, man. Like Arsonal is really aggressive and is good at taking like good angles and lines, but Hollow will construct an angle that'll get the crowd to agree with him, and that's so fucking dangerous in a battle like this.
It'll change the way you look at the person he's against.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like the Charlie Clips first round, like it deads all momentum from the get. Like shit.
And Arsonal like doesn't really
he does do that. I don't like that now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like and the thing about Ars on the other side of the coin is probably the best performance factor in battle rap, or one of, you know, top.
Oh yeah.
You know, his delivery and performance is his big strength and
his defense,
the aggressiveness,
and his defense.
It's gonna be a lot for Hollow to deal with, but I think that Hollow's gonna break him down in a way that it's gonna win the battle for him.
Yeah.
You
know? What do you think, Avo? Like, what's your outlook on this battle?
Not a wash.
Not even just straight out who you think's gonna win, but like, are there any things that you know you predict or that you could see happening on some, you know, insider insight? You know?
I mean, I definitely think I think this is gonna be another Tay-Rock Hollow, like where people are like neither can be counted out. Both of these people are gonna have like the performance of a lifetime. And Hollow's going to do something super experimental, probably, that some people will rock with. Other people will be like, nah, I like the more traditional route just because it appeals more to me. People often forget that Arsonal arguably beat Iron and Lux back-to-back in a 3-week span.
Yeah.
Which is very, very legendary.
Yep.
And then Hollow stood in front of like the best Tay-Rock that there ever has been. So, you know... I don't know how this is gonna go.
And one.
Regardless, it's two of the top people in the whole fucking sport.
And
you know,
this
so
too.
It's gonna be exciting no matter what the outcome.
This is something also to take into account, right? Hollow versus Rock. You got Rock at the top of his game. Probably his best performance in that league, and being somewhat of a favorite, if you know what I'm saying. Like there was a certain like air in the room or vibe of like even leading up in the fan feedback of like like Hollow's the grind time guy who does these battles, but Rock is our guy. We've seen the whole meteoric rise in there, sort of that end. Hollow, like people want to debate and say Rock. I'm not mad at it. I thought it was a great battle. I personally do give it Hollow 2-1, but that's going against someone who's at the top having their best performance in front of like sort of a home crowd. I don't think that it's going to be that way for Arsonal. I think it's going to be more of a level playing field.
Definitely.
Because kind of historically, Arsonal in front of the URL crowd's been hit or miss as far as crowd reaction. You know, there's been like, you look at Hitman or what, even like there's some points where he's almost like getting booed kind of, you know what I mean? And like, or jeered or whatever, like heckled. But another thing we haven't really touched on that I think is important, small room. That makes this battle to me way more insane. And honestly, I think thinking about it now, and I hadn't thought of this, I think that works in Arsonal's favor.
Definitely does.
I think that a big stage in front of that crowd works almost to Hollow's advantage more with his performance. But a small crowd, pit style almost, even if there's a stage, but like with Arsonal,
there's no stage. It's pit.
That's crazy. I think that works for Arsonal.
Maybe 50 people.
Right.
At the most battle rappers. That's how it was at Volume 1. And I'll say that, like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, big performers don't really work in the small room. But then you watch, like, Mike P versus Shotgun Suge that happened in Volume 1, and Suge just fucking steamrolled the first round. you're just like, God damn, okay, this still fucking works, you know? And Arsenal's a huge performer like that.
Yeah.
So
he has like a pit edge, I feel like. I don't even know. I guess like Fight Club is an example, and even the Lion's Den and stuff, but like I don't think
Khan and Ars, that's a good example.
I almost think he works better in that format than big stages. To be even like with him being such an incredible performer, I think it's amplified in that sort of tight knit scenario.
Right. What I really want to see from this battle is, I want to see Hollow doing his well executed, covering all bases, and I want to see Arsonal being not indirect. You feel me? Because Arsonal has both sides of the coin, where he'll have a crazy performance, but then he'll have performances where it seems like it's mixtape a little bit. Yeah. If Arsonal comes at 100% and is aggressive as fuck, and Hollow breaks it down, I think we got a recipe for a fucking
nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I also want Hollow to not be to be more structured too in this battle. You feel me? Because I know how he writes. I know how it's in chunks, and I know that he's kind of piecing it together as he goes. So that's something that I also want to see from Hollow is just going through it, like having his shit down pat, more structured. Yeah. But that's pretty much my thoughts on this shit.
I think it's the recipe for a classic. I think that I think it's gonna be a surprise a lot of people in the way that what happens as far as their performances. I'm sure Arsenal's defense is going to be ridiculous, but if anyone can deal with it, it's going to be a Hollow, you know what I mean? Like the hoverboard type shit. Like Arsenal can just do the daylight thing where he like almost removes his opponent even during their rounds. I think Hollow's smart enough to take all that into account. So I think it's going to be really dope. And if I were to guess, I do think that Hollow's going to get the first round. The second is going to be the decider round, like the swing round. And I think Arsonal will probably do the third. If, like, my sort of breakdown of their historical rounds comes into play, where maybe Hollow does the more message-driven or topical, conceptualized round third, and fucking Arsonal does the crazy performance, you know what I mean? Like, braid-shaking, like, wild performance. Yeah. I think he'll take the third. I think Hollow's going to come out and with the strong first round and take it decisively. Yeah. And I think the swing round will be the second. Yeah. And that could go either way.
It seems like a 21... Yeah. Either way is kind of what seems is going to be the most.
I think it's anybody's battle.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, like there probably going to be an argument for Ars and Hollow, but I fuck with this, man. This is a great match. I think URL is very smart for having this battle and for putting it in the small room, because it's like, if you think about it, the original was in a small room. So let's go.